Good morning. Happy Monday. We are starting off our week in quarantine. Not all of us. My son was exposed at school to someone who tested positive. One of his classmates, unfortunately, has tested positive. We're sending lots of well thoughts, but we are going to talk to Miss Becca Martin today, who is the owner and lead copywriter over at Black Diamond Copy Company. I am always wondering, hi Becca, I see you're here. How do I get you in? We're going to talk to her about, here we go. We're going to be talking to Becca today about the importance of good copy. As small business owners. Good morning, Becca.
Hi.
It's so nice to see you again.
You too. I feel like this is so close up to my face. There we go. A little bit better.
Please, even closer. We want to see you as close as possible.
Oh my goodness, no. No.
Well, I was just saying we are going to be talking about the importance of good copy, which of course is very important to small business owners because our copy on our website is typically the first chance that our customers have a chance to really hear what we have to say. And you know, when they're reading our copy on our website, they're imagining what we sound like and seeing if they like us, basically.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And so we want to make sure that we start off on the right foot, on the right first impression.
Yes,
So
absolutely.
why don't you introduce yourself and what you do, like Black Diamond Copy Company.
Okay. Yeah, I am Becca Martin. I am the founder of Black Diamond Copy Co. Hi.
We're in quarantine this week. Yay!
I know. I think I heard you say that at the beginning of the video.
Yes. It is what it is.
Yeah, that's a great way to look at it. I spend most of my time at home anyway, so I don't really
notice the difference. Yeah.
Exactly. Exactly.
Right. Go ahead. Tell us about Black Diamond.
Yes, so my company's called Black Diamond Copy Co., and we are scaling to a copywriting agency. I know, so exciting. I can't wait to implement everything, hoping to fully roll out the agency in January for the new year, and taking it slow to get everything set up on the back end. But yes, super exciting. And I've been a copywriter for, I don't know, 5 years or something at this point. So it's been a journey to get here.
Well, and I appreciate you being here. If anyone's been to my website, Becca is the one responsible for all the copy on my website. So if you liked it, you like Becca. And speaking of website, and of course, we're here on social media, wanted to talk a little bit about the difference between content writing and copywriting, because I know that there's a difference. I consider myself good at content writing, but not copywriting. And I know that there's an overlap, but there's definitely a difference. So what is the difference?
Yeah, so the biggest difference is that copywriting is essentially writing to inspire somebody to take an action. So that could be, getting somebody to sign up for your email list, buying a low ticket offer, paying me for photography services, paying me for copywriting services. Copy is to get somebody to take an action, whatever that action is. If it's to book you, sign up for an email sequence, or anything like that. Content writing is more writing to inform. So that's what blog posts are. That's what social media posts are. Podcast show notes, all of those things fall into the content category. Whereas what I do, which is website copy, sales page copy, email funnels, landing page copy, tripwire copy, those are all copy because you're wanting somebody to take some type of very specific action versus just reading to be informed.
So copywriting makes us the money, and content writing builds us the community.
Yes, that's exactly it. Yeah. Yes.
Perfect. And one of the things that I know that you've talked about a lot recently, and in fact, Casey just wrote in a comment on my reminder you're coming post, was the how to write that catchy headline, an email subject line. What is the secret to writing that email subject line to get people to actually open the email?
That is a tricky one because it totally depends on your audience, but there are some formulas that typically work well. One is to provide shock value. So something where you're like, I can't not open this. Like I have to know what is inside of this email. And that can be done in a couple ways. Like one, it can just be something like a really shocking statement. It also could be using the word this is also really powerful in your subject line because think of it, if you say this changed my life, this impacted whatever, like if you say this, it creates that curiosity, which is another good tactic to use in subject line writing because it creates curiosity. People want to know what this is, so it creates that instinct to just click on it to see what's inside. And then the other things are just like being really direct. So if you're launching something, you could be just using a very direct headline like cart is open or something if you've hyped it up and people know. So like direct, curiosity, shock value, those are all good ones to use. It also could just be something where it's like unusual in a way people are like, what is she like talking about? Like, and it could be a story-based title too. I think one of my best emails, I still remember sending this, it was called, or the subject line was, she copied me and it didn't work. And it was actually about my roommate who just watched me propagate my plants and put them in water and thought she could propagate any plant by putting a piece in water. And it was like, about the reasoning behind like why you have to know what you're doing in order for something to be successful versus just like looking at what other people do and copying it. So that was like, a really good one.
Yeah, that is, I love that. I'm a big metaphor analogy lover. And I love that about, that's a whole other subject about, being copied or whatever. It just doesn't work the same.
Right. Yeah, absolutely.
Got to know what you're doing. So a lot of us small business owners, we try to DIY a lot of our stuff. We just, especially in the beginning, we're trying to just get stuff off the ground. And one of the things, I read your blog, I read your newsletters too, is you talk about all the important things that you should have on your homepage. So as we're trying to just get our website off the ground, as far as copywriting is concerned, what are some key things for us to make sure we have on our homepage?
Yeah, so that's a great question. I always like to say that your homepage should essentially be like the directory for the rest of your website. So everything that you want to highlight throughout your website, you should highlight on your homepage in a condensed version, just so when people scroll through your homepage, they know everything you have to offer. They know who you are, they know what your freebie is, they know what your services are, they can read some testimonials, and really whatever else there is that you want to highlight. I literally just finished creating like a new updated homepage guide. So I just went through all of this on Friday. I know, I'm excited. I messaged my team and I was like, I finished it. We can update everything now.
Is this going to be a freebie for everybody, or is this something that's for your copy club, which we'll talk about?
No, it's going to be like a low ticket offer. So I think it's like $27 in my shop right now, but I just like updated it and added like way more sections of things that like you should definitely include versus optional. So one of the optional things are like blog. If you have a blog, highlight your blog. Same with a podcast. If you have a podcast, you can highlight that. But those aren't things that everybody has. But like everybody has, you should always start with a title and a subtitle. Then you should go into like an opt-in if you have one. You can add a media bar if you have one. You should introduce, make some connection points with your audience in the next section before introducing yourself, introducing like a highlight of your services. So those are all things that I definitely recommend having. But again, whatever you have on your website, you should have everything kind of outlined on your homepage.
And then it kind of shows you what you're going to see as you navigate through. And another thing that I know that you have on your blog for the homepage is to always include testimonials on your homepage.
Yes. Yeah. You definitely should include testimonials as well. It's so important because it's kind of just, like I said, giving everybody that lands on your page like an opportunity to scroll through and see everything that you essentially have done or are going to offer them. Just so they can get a glimpse and make sure like, okay, I think this person's for me. Like, let me click through to read like their full-on services. Like I'm feeling a connection with this person.
Now, when we're typing out the copy for our homepage, should we be typing like we talk? Should it be more of a formal? I mean, like I know that there's email writing and there's comment writing.
Yeah.
How are we supposed to use our voice when we're doing our copy?
I think that you should be as authentic to yourself as possible, to your voice as possible, because if you show up on your website and you try to like portray a different voice that doesn't feel like you, because maybe somebody else who you see who's successful is doing it, and you're like, well, I want to be that person, but then you show up like on a live stream like this and it sounds nothing like you, or you email your audience and you just can't get that same tone down. So I think like being yourself in your copy is really, really important. Like I know with your copy, we put in some like little quirky things and stuff, but it sounds like you. So when people get on the phone with you, when people reach out to you and just fill out your contact form, they're getting you and your voice, and they feel that connection, and they're not like, wait a minute, did I email like somebody different?
Yeah.
Like I think it's important to stay true to yourself and authentic with your like the voice you talk with on a regular basis, because everything overlaps. And a point of communication we have with our audience is vast. Like there's your email, even when somebody fills out your contact form, you're emailing them directly. There's your social media, there's live stream videos, there's reels, there's your website, your sales page, there's everything. So just if you stay authentic to who you are, it's easier to communicate to your audience because you know exactly what you're saying,
Right.
the whole
Don't have
time.
to remember like what persona to be in an email. Now, if being so authentic and personal is so important in copywriting, how does that get pushed over when we hire a copywriter? Like how do you know to write it for us? Like how does that happen? Because like you said, it's so important to just be us and authentically us, and then we're having someone else do it for us.
Right.
It's it starts to feel impossible. So how does that work?
Yeah, that's a good question. I feel like the way I do it is like, I have a questionnaire process. So when somebody reaches out to work with me and we decide it's a good fit, I have them fill out a questionnaire. And part of that questionnaire is asking, which words should I and shouldn't I use? What's your tone of voice? Like all those questions to really get very clear on what you want to portray in your copy. But I also spend a lot of time getting to like know the people that I'm working with, which I think is really important. So, follow you on social media, like read through everything that you've previously wrote on and I always ask too, so say they already have a website and we're rewriting it, or like with you had your mini sessions and we redid that sales page. I'm going to ask you, what do you not like about your current sales page? Or how do you feel about the tone of voice on it? How do you feel about each section? Just so if you're like, I hate everything, I wrote it really fast, like it's not good, it doesn't sound like me, I know like, okay, I'm not even going to look at this. Like this is not a relevant piece of content that I need to consume in order to pick up on your voice. But I don't know. I feel like just going through everything, getting to know people, and like having that questionnaire, they're all like really crucial pieces of the puzzle. And then I feel like I just have this ability, like words are my thing to like kind of pull that.
Yeah. Your gift.
Yeah. To just tap in to other people and like intuitively use the words and kind of, replicate who they are as a person. Is that what you would say? Like you were like, wow, this wasn't me writing it, but.
No, yes, you are a chameleon. And in fact, like I poked around with, you showcase in your portfolio launches and stuff, and you can click to these other websites and it doesn't feel like it's Becca talking. It feels, like I'm actually, hearing directly from whoever the client happens to be. But like, yes, you are a chameleon. It's quite like, it's fantastic. You are worth your weight in gold. Absolutely.
Thank you.
And then speaking of like, what are the benefits of hiring a copywriter, and not just for the website, because you offer all kinds of other, like you said, copywriting is about email nurture sequences and launch sequences and all these other ways that we're making money. So what is the benefit to hiring you?
Well, I will say the number one benefit is probably time. Even as a copywriter, I know just how time consuming it is to focus on your own work. I think just as business owners, every business owner I talk to, they're like, yeah, this has been on the back burner because I prioritize my client work. And I'm the same way. So I completely get that. Like when you have your own stuff to do, you just keep pushing it off, pushing it off. So one is like time. Like you're going to get that copy back and you're going to be like a huge weight's lifted off your shoulder. And you can be like, this is done. But also it's done. It sounds like me and it's going to actually start converting because those are all skills. Like when I write copy for people, I don't only consider, their voice. I also consider like the flow. Is this going to convert in this way? Like everything is strategic in its place. Even like on the homepage, I said, you want your title and subtitle, but then we want an opt-in. So we grab their email address right away and we can add them to our email list to continue to nurture them. Like that's a strategic move so that you're not letting anybody just kind of like leave. If it's hidden in your footer, people typically don't scroll all the way to the bottom of your homepage. So putting the most important stuff first, like that's a strategy and it works really well. So like it's the time benefit, but also you get something that converts really, really well at the same time. And it feels like you. It's something that all of my clients are really, really proud of and they're excited to show it off. And, so many times I get comments from people who are like, this sounds like me, but like way better. Like you took like what I had in my head and you made it so much better than I could have ever done. So it gives them that confidence and it also gives them the ability to use pieces of copy. And I know you said you actually did this, to use pieces of copy elsewhere. So you can take pieces from your, sales page and turn that into social posts, turn that into emails if you don't want to like hire all of it out. It gives you the ability to pick and pull and use those in your marketing pieces as well.
It's true. I used it in Facebook ads. I pulled out stuff and I used it in my Facebook ads. I love that, especially when I was working with you for our VIP day. It was, you need to have this here. It is a lot about strategy and you aren't just regurgitating out, words for us to put, but you're also really big on educating. I mean, if your blog is like full of like invaluable information. You've even got the copy club, which is about educating, and so that you can, small business. Well, you tell us, like it's for small business owners, right? The copy club.
Yeah. So my idea with the copy club was most people aren't copywriters. They come into business and they're told essentially like, they hire a coach. Like typically people come into business, they try it for themselves, and then they decide to hire a coach. But when the coach is like, okay, yeah, let's create this offer and launch it, the coach isn't writing your copy for you. They're essentially just telling you like, hey, you need a sales page, you need this many emails, and you need, to promote it for 2 weeks. But no one's actually teaching you how to write copy. That's the thing that I was noticing. The skill based of copywriting wasn't anywhere. I didn't see it anywhere. So I was like, this is a huge like gap in the industry where people are just expected to come in and, people could come in from, a finance role, from a legal perspective, from like wherever, any different, path of life. And they could just not know how to write copy because that's not something, that everyone would call themselves an expert at. And I found a lot of people that actually ended up joining, they're not copywriters. They're business owners who typically help their clients with copy. So designers, like there's a lot of designers who come in because they need to like help their client with their copy that they're designing the website around. That's like a really big piece. And it's like, for them, they need to know like the why so they can suggest different things to their clients and really help them out that way. But it's also, comes with copy audits. So you can submit your copy and then I give you feedback on it to improve it as well. So there's that piece where if you have a website and you want to submit your homepage, to see if it's set up right, if there's anything you could do differently, then I go in and I like critique everything twice a month that's submitted and just, provide you with that feedback. So you get direct feedback, which I think is truly like the most valuable piece of it because it's just like getting those eyes on something when you, again, maybe don't know the reasoning behind why, homepages are set up the way they are.
Well, and sometimes as the business owner, we're just too close to it too. Like we're so emotionally involved. We're overthinking everything. We want everything to be just perfect, just right.
Yeah.
We've got this idea of what we we want or we think we need, and we just can't get past that, you know, what you do. We can't get
Mhm.
past, you know, and delivering something that actually converts, that has the strategy. Because a lot of us write our homepage and we don't have a strategy. All
Right.
we want is for someone to land on our page and click buy now or contact me or whatever. We don't have the knowledge of strategy behind it. And I think that, even in photography, it's just a picture without a strategy, and
Right.
in
Yeah.
copy, it's just a paragraph without a strategy. And
Hmm.
so really that's where your expertise is. And you do such a good job of educating people, to kind of empower them to be able to do it for themselves, because, we can't make money to afford a copywriter unless, we can do something for
Yeah.
us, right?
Right. Yeah. Yeah. That's.
You've got this sales page freebie
Yes.
for everybody that goes through. Well, like what's on the sales page?
It basically walks you through every single section of a sales page and what needs to be included and why. Again, I think, kind of like you were just saying, I think the educational piece is huge versus just outlining sections. I think people really need to understand like the why behind each section. And most people don't do that because if I'm educating you on how to write your own sales page, you're not going to hire me, But I think
Right.
that it's so much deeper than that. Like it's so important to like actually understand the why behind the things that you're doing. Instead of, again, you can look at any sales page and you can see a flow of some sort and you're just like, okay, this looks right. And like do yours the same way. But if you're going to do that, it's like, here's like an actual strategy, an actual flow of how it should be formatted and everything like that. It's just, it makes the biggest difference when you know what you're doing and you know the why behind it. And you're going to see better conversions when you do it that way, and that's the
Yeah.
biggest thing for me. I feel like I'm only successful when my clients are successful. And, I like to almost maybe to a fault, I follow up with people to check in. I'm like, maybe I should reel that in a little bit. But like, it's so important to me that it's actually working. Like I would hate for somebody to pay for a service of like any type of copywriting and it not do its job. Like that's never, of course, like if that's happening, then there's a problem and I need to like go back and fix whatever it is.
Right.
That's really important to me, that it's actually doing its job.
Yes. And you are like what I appreciated about working with you was how much you cared. You were, like invested in the success, not just
Mhm.
you as a standpoint, but like I felt like you actually wanted me to succeed and get those positions, which I totally did.
Yes. And I do. Like, what kind of copywriting would it be if I didn't, Like, it's
Well,
so
yeah,
important.
well, you get in so like deep with us. I mean, you're almost, immersing yourself into our personality. Maybe you're
Mhm.
like, it's this weird morph that you do into us. And so, there's a lot of, in order to, connect on an emotional level through words, you've got to be emotionally
Yeah.
involved in it at some level. So
Yeah.
that's what I think my favorite thing about working with you,
Oh.
just feeling genuinely cared for, that you like wanted more than just a sales. You wanted to make sure that I achieved my goals too. Uh,
Mhm.
and so that was my favorite part about working with you.
Oh, well, good. I'm glad that that's like, that's what I want everyone to feel. Cause again, like I only view myself as successful if my clients are successful. So if you're happy, then I'm happy. That's kind of like, that's really it. Like,
I'm very happy. I keep coming back for more.
I know. I love it. I love it.
So speaking of more, tell us about how, like, what kind of things can we find on your blog and your freebie? Do you have, where can we get that sales page freebie?
Yeah, so I'll probably have to send this to you, or I can add it to the link in my bio right after this, because it's kind of hidden. We're building out a new page on the website right now, which will have everything. It'll have my freebie on it, the sales page freebie. We also are building out, and it should be live soon when this page is live, hopefully in the next week or so, a quiz funnel, which is going to tell you
Ooh.
why your website's not converting. So if you have a website and you feel like it's not converting, this is going to go through and explain to you, like,
Oh, cool.
I know, I'm super, super excited about this. It's going to be awesome. We put a lot of work into it, and now I just need to create like the videos and the resources that you're going to get when you go like through the quiz. So that's super exciting. And then it also have the blog on it. It's basically going to be the hub for everything. So everything, you know, all the freebies, the blog, everything that we have to offer is going to be on this one page. So I'm excited to get that live. But yes, I can send you the link for the sales page freebie. And then
Yes.
I can also put that in the link in my bio as well, so people can access that.
Yes, go follow Becca. So when this website conversion quiz comes out,
Yeah.
you'll know, you'll be able to do it. That's really cool. I already know
Yeah.
that mine does because you did it for me. So
I know. You like launched and it was like wildfire.
it was unexpected, and it was just, you know, it was fantastic. It felt really good. Between you and Karima, it was just like a dream come true. So,
Yeah.
and then so in the last bit of this, let's plug your VIP day. So I did your VIP day, which
Mhm.
is where in one day you do the copy for everything that I, whether it was a website or you do it for email marketing, you do it for all kinds of different projects, right? But it all gets done in one day. And it, you know, as the person, you know, the small business owner who hires you for the VIP day, we don't just get to sit back and drink martinis and wait for this wonderful, you know, thing to land in our lap. You know, there's a lot of involvement in us too, as far as the planning and the strategy, which I really, as a type A, I really enjoyed being involved in.
Mhm.
Um, but the VIP day, tell us about are you booked until after October?
No, not yet. I still have a couple of spots in the end of September. So the beginning of September is all booked, but the end, I still have a couple dates open, which I know any in the next, after Labor Day, after next weekend, that's when it's gonna get crazy again in terms of people reaching out. Because right now people are still trying to soak up the last bit of summer, and I've been, you know, this happens every year, and I'm like, all right, guys, I tried to warn you. But yeah, so a VIP day is, you know, essentially I do try to make it as easy as possible for my clients, but it does, yes, you have to actually come prepared, knowing what you do and
Yeah,
your clients are.
who you are? Yeah.
Yes, like you do have to know the basics of your business, and fill out the questionnaire, which is definitely a very crucial part to the process. Because once we have that, you know, then we can go with everything and have a full overview of every part of your business, which is probably the most important thing. So you'll complete that questionnaire, answering all the question prompts, and then we get on a call the morning of the VIP day intensive just to talk everything through, you know, make sure we're on the same page. And then I do also, like you said, kind of like to go through each of the pages in more detail just to make sure that everything is covered on those pages. It's really, really important to me to know, okay, this is the full scope of her business. This is everything. This is who she serves. This is what their pain points are. This is how she helps, like everything like that. But then also getting on that call after I've had time to review that and take notes and answer, you know, write out questions that I have for you. And then just talk everything through in way more detail. Because a lot of times I find people will fill out the questionnaire, we'll get on the call and be like, I forgot this part, I forgot this. So it's like the chance for you to like really talk everything through with me and just make sure we get everything, I like to say, as close to perfect as the first draft could ever be. That's kind of how I refer to my VIP days, because after I send you the copy at the end of the day, we do edits. After, I like to do collaborative edits where it's either just like in the Google Doc, depending on, you know, how many edits there are, or get on a call and go through them together and like brainstorm even more. So those are the two ways I like to do it after. But yeah, I like to say that your VIP day is the best first draft you've ever received. And then sometimes people don't have really any or any like suggestions or edits. Sometimes, you know, there's more. It just depends on the person and what their offers are. And, you know, I always say, I'm a copywriter. I know as much as like you provide in my own research, but you're always the true expert in what it is that you do. In the clients I work with, like, I mean, I've worked with an esthetician I don't know anything about skincare, you know? So it's like I take what they offer and I then will write to the best of my ability, my research, what they've provided, what we've talked about. But at the end of the day, like she knows worlds more than I do about, you know, skincare and her services that she provides, you know?
Right. Well, and then speaking of which, as a small business owner, how do I know that I'm ready to hire a copywriter?
Yeah, that's a good question. I would definitely say you should have worked with at least, you know, 5 or so clients. Like I want to make sure that you're not, so something that has happened in the past is like people start a brand new business and the first thing they want to do is have a website with copy. So they hire me, I write the copy for them, they love it, but then a few months later they change their business, they no longer offer the service, they decided to pivot like completely maybe to coaching or something, and they no longer offer what they hired me to write the copy for. So that's something like I'd like to make sure the business owners are at least a little bit established. They know exactly what they're doing. You know, something that has been occurring a lot lately is people are leaving their corporate jobs and starting their own businesses, but they're still doing the same like role that they were doing in the like at their corporate job. They're just doing it for themselves now. So they are starting a new business, but they are super clear on what they're doing. They know exactly who they want to work with. They know the ins and outs of everything because they've been doing it before in a corporate role. So those people, I'm like, great, yes, you're not going to change your service in a couple months because you've been doing this. This is what you love. So that's something, but yeah, most new business owners, we do want to, you know, I try to guide them and ask them a lot of questions just to make sure that they aren't wasting their money, because that's something that I, of course, never want to happen.
Yeah, so you've got to be at a place where you know what type of people you're trying to attract, you know what type of business you're running, you know what you want to happen next in
Yes.
your business. And so sometimes it's like, um, you know, some people, like you said, some people know that in the first couple months, some people it takes them a few years, you know, so I guess it's just an internal kind of audit.
Yes. Yeah, it is. It's, yeah, my biggest thing is like I never want anyone to feel like the investment is a waste of, like that would be, you know, devastating. So
Yeah.
it's like I really want to make sure that people are established enough where they aren't going to change, they're not going to close their business, they're not going to, you know, stop, like I guess just even change their offers, change what they're doing, completely pivot things, and then everything we did is just kind of a waste.
So speaking of which, I thought that was the last question, but how often should we be kind of revamping our copy on our website? Like, you know, is there, you know, obviously we're always growing, we're always evolving, you know, like
Mm-hmm.
now even you're evolving even though you're offering the same thing and, you know, and the same values and whatnot. How often should we be going in and sort of just refreshing?
That's a good question. I would say it depends. Like if you're creating a new offer or something, or you're changing an offer, like that should definitely be refreshed. If you, I think the biggest thing is once you do have the foundation of your copy, it is really easy to go in and tweak something. So say you have like a new achievement and you want to add that to your about page, like that's easier to go in and like add a sentence or something, or if something's no longer relevant, like you can delete it and replace it. But a lot of times it just, you almost feel like you've outgrown it, you feel like you're ready for the next level. And as business owners, I mean, we really do go through these evolutions like so much, so it gets kind of like hard.
Yeah.
But I think like you will know when you're ready for that next level where you're just like, this no longer resonates with me. Like, this is where my clients are now. Like, they're not, you know, doing XYZ. Now they're doing like ABC instead. So it's like changing your language to communicate with them with the new level that they're at. But, you know, a lot of times I think if it's like minor tweaks, like it's so much easier to do once you have a really solid foundation, and then, you know, just making tweaks along the way as needed. Or, you know, if you want to do like a whole little refresh, like I have clients who come to me for refreshes when they're like, for example, I did have a client come to me who was like, I have more that I want to add to my about page. Like I want to make it a little bit more professional now that I've served this many clients, did this many things. Like I want to bring this more to the forefront. So it's just like, sure. And just, it's like basically a refresh of the about page versus starting from scratch.
Yes, yeah, I do notice that sometimes when, you know, I notice when websites go untouched when, like on their social media, kids are in college, but on their about page, they're still toddlers, and you're just like, what? You've
Yeah,
been in there
yeah.
for a while.
Yeah, those are things where you like are gonna want to update them. You know, I do that all the time. Like I have, you know, the reason behind why my business is called Black Diamond Copy Co on my website. And I was looking at it the other day and I was like, no, I'm gonna refresh this. And I just like everything else stayed the same. But that section, I was like, I want to refresh this. I want to rewrite this in a new angle. You know, so there's just things where you can look at it and you're just like, probably time for a refresh. You know, you
Right.
just know.
You just know.
Yeah.
We've got one question on here from Hassan Blogger, and he wants to know, we kind of already talked about this, what is the most important factor in the sales copy headline? And you talked about that was probably one of the most popular questions is, you know, the shock value using this. Tell us one more time for all the people who just showed up,
Yeah.
this
So
email
what
subject line.
yeah, what is the most important factor in sales copy after the headline? Well, after the headline, that's when you really want to focus on like the connection points and show the reader that you like understand what it is they're going through while also like showing them where they can be when they work with you. So I do have the sales page freebie that I'm going to link to in my bio, which walks you through every section of the full sales page. So that's probably, you know, going to be more helpful than me breaking down every single step of the sales page here. And it'll also like be easier to digest when you can have it in front of you and all the details are laid out.
Perfect. Perfect. Well, thank you so much, Becca, for joining me this morning. You are just wealth of knowledge, and so generous with it too. So, thank you so much. And everyone go follow Becca. Sounds like she's got some amazing things coming up for us, really,
Yeah.
really soon. And, you know, all of the stuff that she posts on social media is full of inspiration and so much knowledge. So you'll always learn something from following Becca.
Oh, well, thank you so much for having me. This was fun. I'm glad
You bet. And I'll post all this to IGTV and all the places so more people can watch it later. And I hope
Okay.
you have a great Monday.
Bye. Thank you. Bye.